The stand event that we did the other night got the media in there because there was a lot more media in there than there have been before.
Yep,
what I want to see is we want it kept up. We need people down here. We need people to see the injustice. We need people to be harassed by these marshals so they can write up and say, you know, I wasn't doing anything, and they're coming over to me and telling me you can't sigh, you can't go, you can't smile, you have to have a smile on your face, you can't have a piece of gum in your mouth. We need you here. We need you to see the injustice for yourself, because if it goes on without people seeing it, there's no hope. That's a great point. Thanks for bringing that up. So once again, Sheriff Lombardo, he says he was in fear of his officer's safety. He was in fear of Nevada Highway Patrol. He was in fear of the lives of the BLM. Guess what he didn't say he was in fear of? He wasn't in fear of the people's lives. Men, women, and children. Protesters' lives. He didn't care about those 200 to 300 people. No. He didn't have any thoughts or any fears for the men, women, and children down in the wash that they would be murdered like Ruby Ridge, like Waco. He's only in fear of his officers. But he also did say that the people were not in fear of the police. Like, are the people supposed to be in fear of the police? Is that the police today, nowadays? Is that the people are supposed to be in fear? Because this is coming from a sheriff himself. Now, I can say this, that I saw a difference between Lombardo's testimony today and last time, and that he was a lot more truthful. He answered some of those questions that were bad for the prosecution. Like, no, he didn't know if their guns were loaded or not. So I do have to commend him on that. Thank you, Lombardo, for speaking the truth up there. But you should have been concerned about the citizens, about we the people who elected you and put you in office. And I hope you take that home and think about that for next time.
Do you think that there's potential that stunt they pulled today with the jury being able to ask questions, and then they did the sidebar where the judge went through the questions first? Do you think that might have anything to do with trying to find a way around getting a favored jury nullification for themselves or anything like that? Because I have a couple theories on that, but
very possibly.
Yeah.
Also, once they've opened this door, they can't shut it. Because the jury now expects that after every witness, they're going to be allowed to ask their own questions.
They're allowed
to. You know, this could work in our favor too.
Or a temperature taking event too. A
couple of the questions were like, well, you know, who's in command here? And they want to get to the bottom of this. And that encourages me, because that's exactly what a jury should be doing. Getting to the bottom and finding the truth. And that does encourage me, because the fourth branch of our government, we the people up in that jury room want to know the truth, and they're sitting on that jury, and let's hope that they can get to it.
Amen.
All right, that's all I got.
Well done. Thank you very much, Andrea. Thank you. All right, guys.
He was stunned.
That was an amazing. I don't even know where do I begin. I mean, it was all said. It was all said. I'll peruse through the notes. I really think she hit all the topics. There could be some things that I can elaborate. It was really hard to go through my notes. My notes were a little fuller than they needed to be, I think, this time. So it kind of threw me off a little bit. Apologize for interrupting her on that. One elaboration I wanted to make with the sheriff adding those points to it. Didn't want to throw her off there. Hey, got my buddy here.
I was sitting with you.
Wow, though. I'm just going to go through these notes before I let them go. I mean, if you want to jump off, it's okay, and see it later. Of course it's okay. It's so hot. It's so hot.
It's hot. You're hot.
Haha. Listen to that. These Patriot men. What am I supposed to do with them? Oh, my hair's all crazy.
You know, one of the things I didn't see if it was addressed, but when Lombardo said, when he was asked if there was going to be any retribution, and he said, or how did he put it? He said, no, there will not be any retribution, and there will not be any arrest. And
yeah, it was in the video, wasn't it? That was in the video, wasn't it?
Well, he said that today.
He had to have his memory refreshed.
He said that today from the stand. There would not be any retribution. There would not be any arrest. Well, guess what? There was. And he actually, when he was running for sheriff, this is one of the questions that was presented to him. And he said the reason there was no arrest is because there was no laws broken. So he basically reaffirmed what he said when he was running for sheriff. And I thought for sure that the defense would have jumped all over that.
Also, Neil Wampler had his Constitution in his pocket today. There's Neil. Hi, Neil.
Neil,
Come here real quick. That Constitution that's in your pocket. Did somebody tell you how to remove it again, even though it was put out that we can have it?
The marshals changed their policy practically
Again.
moment by moment. When I went in there this morning, they made me take it out of my pocket, and they wouldn't let me take it in the courtroom. I got it back, and when I went back in after lunch, they didn't say a thing about it. It was right there in my pocket. There's another very nice, civilized, well-groomed lady who had on her chest a prayer button, that our hope is prayer now. And please pray for the P3s and everything like that. One of the marshals asked her, what's the meaning of that? What do you mean by it? What is that?
Prayer button.
And she had to take it off too.
Yeah.
Because it had to do with prayer.
Because there was a prayer button.
Seriously?
She had to remove it.
Yeah.
Really, guys? Really, U.S. Marshals? Prayer is a threat to you? Well, it is the most powerful thing I know.
They're right about that. Yeah.
Maybe they should be a little intimidated by God. Maybe we should all be fearing God. Maybe if we all feared God a little bit,
I think
we would not be doing this to each other here.
Didn't David say a prayer before he swung that stone and hit Goliath right in the forehead, man?
Well, another interesting thing is when Lombardo, he made the statement, he kind of rambled on there for a minute, and he said those people were not in fear of law enforcement.
No.
And later on, that came back because one of the defense attorneys asked him, are they supposed to be in fear of law enforcement? And then the defense prosecuting attorney objected, and she sustained the objection.
Yeah.
And she says, strike that from the record or whatever.
But I can testify from being there that actually we were very, very glad to see the county sheriffs arrive there.
Oh yeah, we were. We
weren't afraid of them at all.
No. And they had no reason to fear us either.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
Yeah.
Well, I've been perusing through my notes while these gentlemen are speaking. Describe camo weapon, quasi-military, which we went over that earlier with Andrea. But there was something else from their stance and demeanor. Oh! Just from their stance and demeanor, they look like security.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I know we're like way off on that. It was actually kind of hard because I was I've got my hand on the camera and I was standing, and then I had to like flip my notes. Sorry that you guys couldn't see, with one leg holding me up. So I apologize for getting a little bit discombobulated. I usually like just run through my notes sitting down, but so I gotta get used to this in a different way, because like the way she runs down, I just want to be helpful, but I don't want to mix her up. Sure. Because she puts the word out. I mean, like, I don't think there's anybody else that can get all of that out any better, honestly.
No, she does an excellent job. But I'd like to just play devil's advocate here for a second. You know, the BLM, Dan P. Love, said, on behalf of the United States government, I cannot agree to having the cattle being released. Okay, now, did they not take an oath to uphold the law? If he really believes he was doing the right thing, didn't he just break his oath? Any way you look at it, they broke their oath. This is just a different way that I don't know anybody else has looked at. Go ahead.
There is something very important in my notes that I did want to reference. Okay, so Cliven Bundy, when he had his speech and gave a speech, so Lombardo testified on the stand at one point in regards to Lombardo's speech that, in his opinion, this is Lombardo's opinion, that Cliven's speech was just rhetoric. So he wasn't worried at all.
Oh, yeah.
That no one would react. He wasn't worried about that reaction, at all.
Oh, your phone is hotter.
I know, it's hot. That's the other thing I'm dealing with, because it's so hot out here. This is hot.
Man.
You guys have no idea.
You can't hardly
I don't
hold
need
that
your pity, but it's really hard. My phone is super hot, and I was standing on one leg earlier, and I'm a hot mess right now.
That's
but anyways,
a really good point.
That was the point I wanted to bring up to you guys. That was eating at me, and I was looking for it for my notes. Lombardo testified, and I think it could actually help Cliven Bundy in his trial, that Lombardo on the stand, this is transcribed on record, that Lombardo testified that he didn't believe that anything Cliven said in his speech was of any value or concern or relevance, that it was just rhetoric.
Just rhetoric.
I mean, I'm elaborating. I'm paraphrasing and elaborating, but that's what I perceived at it. His own words were just, in his opinion, he believed what Cliven was saying was just rhetoric.
Yep, he did say that.
He did say that.
Yep. Well, in my personal opinion, this is the worst opening statements. I've been in all these trials, right?
Yeah.
That is the worst opening for the prosecution. They look like to me, they look like they're self-destructing up there, really.
I think so. I think that they definitely look like they're self-destructing today. But then, that's why I also speculate, that stunt they pulled with the questions from the jury, apparently that's lawful, that's allowed in some courts, but it's usually not ever seen in federal courts from what I understand. I had some experts with different opinions about this.
Let me throw something in real quick just to
ahead.
support what you just said.
Yeah.
There's a gentleman sitting in front of me, his name's Alan, and he is for 13 years he taught at the police academy proper court demeanor. And he said that was the worst thing, the worst opening he's ever seen. He was stunned, he was shocked. He turned around multiple times basically going, oh, you never
jaw-dropping, huh?
He says you never use the word assume when you're on the stand. Law enforcement, you never use the word I believe, you know, and these are, you know, outs. That's the way I look at him.
Yeah, they're outs.
Lombardo,
yeah.
Because he is between a rock and a hard place. He looked very uncomfortable up there. He
sure
got
did.
caught several times contradicting himself. I won't say lies, but he got caught several times in contradicting himself.
Yep.
And it really...
Defense did good to show that and showcase that, yeah.
And the prosecution looked like they had no credibility at this time at all.
No, none at all. So, where was I running with that? Oh, that's my train of thought. I was running somewhere with that. I forgot what I was even saying.
Oh, you'll get it back. I don't know.
I don't know. I think I should let you guys go, though. I think all of the most important highlights out of this trial came out today. Very well done by Andrea Parker again. Everybody on the ground here, every court observer doing a wonderful job. The supporters here, I'm going to turn the camera on them really quick. They're cleaning up. See, this is another reason why we need more bodies. Everybody, you know, it's not just the court observers going inside and observing these lies and deceptions, but there are people that stay down here. And usually, I'm usually trying to help, so I'm not trying to get out of this, but usually people are down here and they're putting everything away, helping David Fleeman out. Putting chairs away, putting signs away, getting coolers, getting it ready, stacked by the road. Sometimes there's a whole lot more equipment than this. I've seen a lot more equipment than this. But this is where we clean up after ourselves every time. This stuff just doesn't go up by itself or come down by itself. And it's another good reason where we can really use more bodies and hands-on. Not just for the court observations, but for supporting one another. We have people actually stay out here and educate people all day long that are driving by, walking by, either with signs or pamphlets, constitutions, speaking to them, telling them the truth, highlighting the information so they can understand why it is we're here, what's going on in these courtrooms, what's happening up there right now as they speak to them. Okay, guys, so that's all I have today. Look at this. Working hard. He hurt his knee today, and he's kicking ass. All right, guys, we can use you. We love you. Thank you guys for being there. Thank you for spreading the word, too, online. We love the online support, too, in the network. That's another ingredient that we find valuable and important, and it's working.